Let's continue with the German exclusive Indiana Jones novels, all written by Wolfgang Holbein, and we are talking about Indiana Jones und das verschwundene Volk, which would literally translate to The Lost People, but I think it would be better to translate it as The Lost Tribe. Oh boy, this book. This book was quite something. I didn't know anything about it going in. I don't know anything about the German indie novels going in. They are always a surprise, I guess. This one shocked me, and I don't know if it's my favorite or my least favorite of these German novels, because there is stuff in here that's really good and fun, but then there's also stuff in here specifically related to continuity, but also little stuff that annoys me. But oh my god. You wouldn't think we would have to talk about continuity with Indiana Jones, because pretty much every story is just like a singular standalone adventure. But Holbein decided he's gonna bring back some characters. Kinda. But he didn't know the names of the characters or their actual appearance, so this is kind of fucked up. I don't even know if I can talk about the story without spoiling it, because the ending is the most batshit insane thing. It's the most insane thing since The Ship of the Gods, his second book. So I guess I will spoil it, but I will give you a warning. It's fucking nuts. Okay, so the basic plot summary is Indiana Jones and like a colleague of his are getting hunted down by a gangster called Malone. And that's fun. He's a fun villain, kind of. And he's hunting Indy and this other professor guy through the US because the professor guy has invented a machine which is apparently able to like date every object from like when it was made. And then as the story continues, Indy also gets caught up in like another story because there is like a Mormon society, like a little village called Hiob, which is haunted by Native Americans because one Native American died there. And he was like this mysterious guy, and he's part of like a tribe that has died out like centuries ago, so there's a nice little mystery there. And that's all fun. And that's all I can say without going into spoilers, because it gets so fucking bizarre. Okay, I guess this is kind of spoilers, but I have to talk about it. You are warned. This is now about the continuity and the characters who return. There is a character in here called Fat Herbert. I don't remember the last name. Wojcinski. He's like, I guess, a Polish guy or something. And he's basically just like a side character, but it's mentioned, oh, he's an old friend of Indy from way back in the day when they were both part of the Boy Scouts in Utah, which is what we see in, the opening of Last Crusade in the flashback in 1912. So this character works like on his own as like a new character who gets introduced, and it's just like, oh, it's an old acquaintance of Indy because Indy doesn't think too highly of him. So you would think, okay, what's the problem? This character was very clearly supposed to be Herman Mueller, the fat kid we see in the prologue of Last Crusade, and who also is like a prominent character in like young indie books. But I guess Holbein didn't know about that. Which, to be fair, he couldn't know because this book came out in 91 and then the young indie books was like a bit later, so that's fair. But yeah, so this one still works. It just sticks out to me because I clearly can see what the intention was. But this is still fine. What's not fine is the other character that returns. Fedora, aka Garth, or as this book calls him, Jake. This is just a continuity fuck up. It doesn't even work with the movie, because the way Jake is portrayed in this, first off, Holbein claims he's a half-breed, like half white guy, half Native American, but I mean, insert a picture of Fedora, the character from the movie. I mean, I don't see it. And then Indy somehow knows his name, which also goes against literally everything. And then he's also portrayed as just being like pretty much a straight up bad guy. And I don't like that at all. Because Fedora, aka Garth as his real name is, in the prologue, he's just an enigma of a character. He's the guy who inspired Indy. It's very intentional. He looks like Harrison Ford, the outfit and everything. And through like subtle actions, it's clearly shown he's like a scoundrel with a heart of gold. This book slightly touches on that, but he's very much the main villain, kind of. But again, my solution for this whole thing would be, this is not Garv, aka Fedora. This Jake character should be retconned to be the actual half-breed, from Garv's crew that we see in the opening of Last Crusade. Because there is a guy who's, credited as half-breed. That is my headcanon solution for this problem, because I just don't like this at all, and I don't think it works well. And now we just go into full-on spoilers and I can talk about the ending, because holy fuck, this... I don't even know where to start. So this Native American tribe, I don't remember their specific name, but whatever, they managed to escape to the old world. And as we learn in the end, that means they somehow magically managed to stay in a specific date for centuries. Time stands still. And they have the ability to travel back into our time and world. So Indy's colleague, the professor guy, his invention, this machine that can tell you when something was made, somehow messes with their magic, and it's basically on accident a time machine. And Jake, the bad guy, uses it to travel to that place where time stands still, the old world, where this native tribe, is still living. And he just wants to steal their treasures, but then there's also a secondary villain who's a reverend in this village. And his plan is, he wanted to get to this old world place, time travel there, so he can take over the native tribes and turn them into Christians, which is so fucking bizarre as a villain plan, but okay. And then we eventually get the happy end. Jake gets caught, the Reverend is taken out, and they are gonna return to their own time with the machine, but the machine is gonna stay behind so that it works, which also means the entrance will be sealed and no one can time travel anymore. And then at the end there's also the twist reveal. Malone and all of his goons are actually all parts of government agencies. One is CIA, one is FBI, fucking British Secret Service. Everybody is a double agent actually, and not really criminals. Which is bizarre, and that's how the book fucking ends. It doesn't even end with Indiana Jones and his friends returning to the real time. They are still in the past by the end of the book, just with the reveal, oh no, the criminals actually were all double agents. Everyone was a double agent. It is fucking nuts, and simultaneously I hate it and I love it. It is so fucking bizarre. So in conclusion, would I recommend this book? I guess, yeah, it's nuts. It's a fun read. Especially the first half has some of the most fun action set pieces, but I don't know. This one is gonna stick with me for a long time.